All right. So this video is more for my own sanity than anything. It's currently -3 degrees and it's like February 18th and I'm here in central Illinois. And last year in early March, I remember catching largemouth bass, I think like the first week of March, which would be just a couple weeks from now, sight fishing with like weightless lizards, like seeing largemouth in shallow water. And right now everything is still extremely frozen and it's -3 degrees. So I got to talk and think, and part of keeping my sanity is kind of planning my attack for when I'm ready to hit the river this spring from the bank. I'm hoping maybe like late March, if not, maybe April's going to be when we start this year. But since I have not much else to do and I have to continue fantasizing, I started thinking about kind of like what my lineup is for lures, what I might do this spring in terms of different categories, what I'm going to be carrying with me, and what I'm probably going to be reaching for depending on different situations. So the context is I'm going to be fishing rivers in Illinois. In spring, water levels are usually a little higher. Oftentimes rain, you're going to get water that's going to be a little more off-colored. Maybe right there in late March, early April, water might be clear, but once we get a little bit warmer, we're going to get probably a little more color to the water and higher water with more current. And I'm going to be fishing from the bank. So that's the context I'm giving you for what lures I'm looking at. I'm also not going to get into color too much or size. That does fluctuate river to river and where you're at, and also to do with water conditions. So let's get into it. So the first category of baits I want to talk about is swim baits. I have 3 up here. One is the far left here. This is the Rapala Crush City Mayor. I started fishing this last summer and I just flat out caught a lot of big smallmouth on this. And I specifically paired it with an underspin. So I like it. It's a more compact profile. It just really fits well with an underspin. They are a little bit, my only criticism, they're a little bit soft. They do tear pretty easily. But I think that's a good bait if I'm fishing around wood. Let's say I'm fishing around a lot of flooded wood with maybe a little bit more off-color water where I need a little flash to get a little, I don't want to snag up and I need a little extra flash. The Mayor with the underspin is probably a good choice. Next one, this is the Z-Man Gobius. I have fished the Z-Man, I fished this one as well as the Dark Sleeper. They're both very good. I like the Gobius a little bit better. I like that the hook is, I feel like, maybe this is just a mental thing on my part, but I feel like you get better hook sets on this one because the tip is still very protected to keep it snag proof. It just seems like it's a little easier to penetrate. And I think the Gobius is maybe a little bit, it's got that elastic, the Z-Man plastic, so it's just really good. And they're also just happen to be a couple bucks cheaper than the Dark Sleeper. So I love this bait. You can use a 3/8 or a 1/2 ounce. I love this bait in situations where I want to be making good bottom contact. Maybe I'm fishing high water with a little bit of current and I just want to make sure I'm on the bottom. Maybe I can't see what's on the bottom in terms of snags and stuff. This is like a very, very snagless lure. So I can cast this thing out and drag bottom and just feel confident I'm fishing the bottom. I'm not worried about rocks or wood because I'm going to pull through it. And it's a finesse enough, small enough bait that it's going to catch just a ton of fish. So phenomenal lure. And the third one, this is the 6 Sense Divine. This would be my choice probably on a jig head, just an open jig head if I'm fishing an area where I just need to cover water, and probably more clear water conditions than like the underspin, and areas obviously that are not super snaggy, because if you fish with an open jig head you're going to snag up a lot. But it's just a beautiful bait fish. It's an absolute fish catcher, a little bit more thinner profile, not quite as bulky, but it's just flat out a fish catcher. It's very good for covering water. Next category, we're going to talk about jerk baits. So I actually don't think that I'm that great of a jerk bait fisherman, if I'm being honest. But these are the ones I'm going to be carrying with me. The one on the left here, this is an X-Wrap. There's a few different sizes. You could even go down to like the 5 if you really were trying to get into a finesse-y bite. I think the colors I like this white bone, I like clown, and I like the blue one. It's like a shimmer blue. Again, I'm not a great jerkbait fisherman, but this is a jerkbait I have a lot of confidence with. It's got a nice big rattle, casts super well, and I love the feathered trebles that X-Wraps have. You can't quite see it. The feathered treble here, I just think that sometimes when you're letting that bait sit, that little quivering just just triggers a bite. The next one, this is a 110 Junior by 12 Oaks Custom Lures. There's a phenomenal custom lure shop. This is a 110 mold. They use really good trebles, really nice different color selection they have as well. Super good customer service, and they come in at a significantly lower price than the Megabass 110s. The only thing I'll just let you know, it's not neither good or bad, but they do not come with split rings. So if you want to put a split ring on there, you got to put on yourself. But great hooks. The 110 Junior, I think, is just such a good smallmouth size bait. And we know that the Megabass 110s and 110 Juniors are just absolute fish catchers. So check out 12 Oaks Custom Lures. They have a great selection. I think they run about $10, $9 or $10. And again, great customer service. They come with really good treble hooks as well too. So these are the jerk baits I'm going to be fishing. You know, the X-Wrap, I feel a little bit more comfortable if there's a little more moving water and current. The 110 Junior, I think, is going to be when I'm fishing those slack areas where I really want those long pauses. But they're both good options, and these are the jerk baits I'm going to be carrying with me. The next category, we're going to talk about metal baits. I don't know if that's what you call it, but I have two. One is up here. This is the Z-Man Minimax chatterbait, which is just a dynamite fish catcher, especially for smallmouth. That's in spot remover. There's obviously a lot of great colors you could pair. It's just a great lure. It's I think it has a tungsten head, so even like a small one like that could be in 3/8 or even a half if you need it, like if you're fishing with a lot of current and you need that weight, but with that compact profile. I love, for a trailer, I love the Zoom Shimmer Shad. Do you even have it? Actually, you know what? I think I have one with me. The Zoom Shimmer Shad, Shimmer Shad, here it is. It just has like a really, really supple tail and this kind of grooves. They're going to catch a lot of water. It just, and this is actually a 3-inch Shimmer Shad. Look at that. You can't even stop moving it when you try. I think they're just phenomenal chatterbait trailers. So you could clearly go bigger, but this is a 3-inch, and I think that's just like smallmouth candy size. The next thing is a Bronze Slammer. Bronze Slammer, I fished a lot of rooster tails for smallmouth growing up. One of my gripes with rooster tails is they just sometimes don't spin. Like you gotta like twitch your rod a few times to like get that blade cooking. Mepps blades spin like, they just spin like a top. They just grab water. They're great. There's great color patterns. I love this flash boo, whatever you call it, with the bucktail, deer hair, whatever. They're just a fish catcher. They have really, really good treble hooks in the back as well. This would be a bait that I'm, again, covering water. Maybe I grew up trout and steelhead fishing a lot as well, so sometimes when there's high current, you can cast into the current and get that blade cooking and then drift that spinner through a hole and get a lot of good reaction bites. So I plan on, again, when I'm thinking like a little bit higher water is when I probably tie on the Bronze Slammer as well as a chatterbait. A lot of times you guys know how it goes. You get out there and you just kind of get a feel for what's going on. But these are the two that I'm going to be carrying. I do like traditional spinnerbaits as well. I just feel like these two lures for me are what I'm going to be carrying for those river smallmouth, and they're just going to catch anything. So, okay, next category is swim jigs. So I have two here. One is, this is Brian Schmidt's swim jig. This is more of a hair jig. I like it. It's got a weed guard, but it's not like so thick. Like it just seems like the right balance of having enough tension and pressure to prevent hooking up on wood, but also won't prevent you good hook sets. I also just think smallmouth love hairy stuff. Going back to like the Bronze Slammer. I love this. It comes in 3/8 ounce. I think it's a really good jig. The other one, this is Dirty Jigs swim jig. I can't remember what it's called exactly. But that's another great one. I put the trailers over here to show. This is again the 6th Sense Divine. I think that's a great trailer for a swim jig. And this is the Strike King Rage Swimmer. I think either of those would be great swim jig trailers. I think probably the Divine is going to be a little bit more cut through the water, a little cleaner, a little bit less resistance, and maybe even I'm guessing that it probably has a smaller volume than like a Rage Swimmer. So depending on if you want to get a little deeper, maybe you run the Divine, and maybe if you want that lure to hang a little more and fall slower, you roll with the Rage Swimmer. The next category is crankbaits. So here's three. This lure, this is the Kevin Van Dam 1.5 square bill. I think it's the quiet one. Um, this was just my number one smallmouth crankbait last summer. Also, I don't fish super deep water, so typically a square bill can cover most of the area. Definitely in the summer and fall when the water's low. In the spring, sometimes you got to get down a little bit more. But I love this KVD, and this is Orange Brim, and I also love Delta Craw. Probably Delta Craw maybe when the water's a little more stained, and Orange Brim when the water's a little more clear. But I generally going to fish crankbaits that are going to be in the orange and red color patterns. Two more. This is the OG Slim 6. I actually happened to find these at Walmart on discount, and I scooped up like 6 in a few different colors. One in more of a shad color and a couple in more of a craw color. They run about 6 feet deep, which again I really like. I think that also, they're very tight wobbling crankbait. The OG get down about 6 feet, which is a good depth for me in the spring if there's higher water. And because they have such tight wobble, they don't grab quite as much current, so you can still fish it through current a little more cleanly. Even though it's actually a little bit, I think it's a little bit bigger than like the KVD 1.5. So I'm really looking forward. I've heard great things. I actually haven't fished them, to be honest with you, but I'm going to be carrying with them, and I feel pretty confident throwing it. And the last one, this is the Teeny 7, I think. This is another Rapala lure. Also, they come with super good trebles. Teeny 7, which maybe again, just I'm going to keep a couple of these with me just in case I need to get a little bit deeper. Than say a square bill or like the OG6. So those are the 3 crankbaits I'm going to be carrying with me. And in terms of soft plastic baits, I'm going to be carrying, this is a craw. I think you always should have a craw imitation lure when you're smallmouth fishing. This is the Ned Wacky Battle Bug. I've got a bunch of these. They're just beautiful. They're just great baits, and they're absolute fish catchers. The other one, this is called the Ned Wacky Helga Monster. I know there's also what's that company? There's another company that makes a Nico Helgramite. I like a Helgramite. I also like Ned rigs, but I'm gonna fish a Helgramite or a Ned, like a Z-Man Ned, in the same areas, and I don't know. I just like the action and a little bit more movement of the Helgramite. I gotta sneeze real quick. I put this in here. I mean, we all know about Ned jig heads, right? Little mushroom upright ones. We know about those. We know about ball head jigs. This is a Spot Lock. What brand is it? I'm trying to remember the name of the brand, but it's called Spot Remover. I've got a variety of weights. I've got a 3/16 and 1/4 ounce and 3/8 ounce spot removers. I think that they actually work really well. Again, if you're trying to get maybe a little deeper, or maybe you're a little bit more concerned about snaggy. I think the 3/8 ones and the 1/4 ounce ones even have like a 4/0 hook, so you can definitely fish them with something like a craw lure and get on the bottom. Or you could throw a swim bait on there too as well, without a doubt. So I put that in there as another option. Just again, I figure you all know about. Oh, and also I carry a lot of Texas rig. Here, I might even have one. This is actually the Helga Monster right here, but this is on like a 1/10 or 1/8 ounce Texas rig kind of, jig head, right? You can see the front. There's the hook. This would be probably what I'm throwing like in the summertime, right? Lower water conditions. This would be an absolute killer. 1/10 of an ounce is a little light in the spring when I'm looking at probably a little bit more higher water. But that's that. So those are the baits I'm gonna be carrying. I'm probably gonna be. I can assure you that when I finally get out there, something along these slides I'm gonna be throwing. So here's my swim baits again: Rapala, Crush City, Z-Man Gobius, 6 Cents Divine. Jerk baits. This is the 12 Oaks 110 Junior, and this is the X-Wrap. Metal baits: Z-Man Mini Max Chatterbait and Bronze Slammer. Swim jigs, this is the Brian Schmidt swim jig hair jig, and this is the Dirty Jig swim jig with the Rage Swimmer or the 6 Cents Divine trailer. Crankbaits, KVD 1.5, the OG Slim 6, and the Tiny 7 Rapala crankbaits. And then on soft plastic baits, these are Ned Wacky Battle Bug and the Helga Monster, which are both good. So there you go. That's what I'm looking at. That's going to be my kind of pre-spawn arsenal, and I'm hoping that we're talking about being out there in a month instead of 6 or 8 weeks. So all you people up there who are freezing your tails off right now, I'm with you. I'm losing my mind, but we're going to be there before you know it. And it's going to be a beautiful time from here through the end of November for us in the north. And for all you people that are able to catch them in January and February when everything doesn't freeze up, good for you. But anyways, let me know what else I should be considering. If there's something I missed or something that's your dynamite pre-spawn river smallmouth bait, bank fishing that you think is really good, I'd love to hear about it. Thanks.